Hello fellow YouTubers, welcome back to YouTube Gaming Community number 129. I'm your host Trouble835, and let's start off with our topic for today. As you all know, one of the major games this holiday season coming out, Battlefield 3, came out yesterday, and it is the inspiration for our topic, which is why are games released screwed up, or why are games screwed up on launch day or release day? Because Battlefield 3 did something wrong on PC, Xbox 360, and PS3 the day it came out. Now, the PS3 and the day it came out, the mistake that was made was that they said that Battlefield 1943, that if you bought the game, pre-ordered the game, you could get that for free. And the game came out, and nobody got the game. And then they're posting on Twitter and other places that, no. One of the things about buying the game was you get the DLC early, which to me is just simply crap, okay? The difference between a game company that fans respect and are loyal to and a company that's not is the company they're loyal to does what they say they're going to do. If you tell us that Battlefield 1943 is going to be for free if you pre-order the game, then you better give them the game. The DLC thing is a cop-out because Sony already cut a deal for you for that anyway. You're already getting paid for it. You are not doing the fans a service. You're just trying to escape out of something. So that was what the PS3 problem was. On Xbox 360, a lot of people couldn't get on the first day the game came out. And this is one of those games where people take the day off of work, or it has come out on the day off of work, and all they plan on doing that day is playing multiplayer of the game online. That's what you tout this game for. That's what all the trailers are for. Just like Call of Duty, that's what people play the game for. The story single player is secondary. The multiplayer is what everybody plays for. And I can't get on to play your game. Now, normally when a game comes out, you say, yeah, there's bugs. They don't know how much traffic they're going to have in volume. But you did a beta not long before the game came out. There is no reason your game should not work on day one for the multiplayer. Why have a beta if your game's not going to work? And then on the PC side, you give them some slack because they're dealing with, EA bought that service, they're distributing their first major release on it. They did have a beta for the game. So as for if the game didn't work when you bought it, online, then there's no reason for it. But like game continually downloading after 100% stuff like that. Steam had the same problem when Half-Life 2 came out. The first major release, as time goes on, those things will get better. But on the PC service side, all the pre-orders on the PC had to be done through them. So they knew how many people could potentially play that game on day one. There's no reason they weren't ready for it. And the other thing is, DICE has talked a lot of smack to Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2. They talked a lot of smack. They talk about they want to be the #1 shooter. If you want to be the #1 shooter, then you gotta act like it. And acting like it means your stuff works on day one. I don't want to hear the excuses they're using Frostbite Engine 2. I don't want to hear the excuses that, it'll work eventually the next day. That's what the fanboys are going to say. I'm talking about the people who have never experienced a Battlefield game before. Maybe they played Call of Duty, maybe they played Halo. They want a new shooter, the trailers look interesting, they pre-order that game, or they go in and they buy that game on day one. They get home, they put that game in. It doesn't work. What are those people going to do? They're going to take that game back to wherever they bought it from, trade it in. They may buy Batman Arkham City. They may go pre-order Modern Warfare 3. The first game of a game is the most important day of a game. Because if I can forget about your game the first day, I'm more than likely going to continue to make reasons why not to get your game, and I'll probably never pick up your game. So you don't get my sale. Not only that, but next time around, let's say Battlefield 4, whatever the next Battlefield game after this would be released, people are going to go, okay, well, I'm not going to buy it day one because there's going to be problems. You can get people past day one, there's a bigger chance they'll go farther than that, because game sales the first week is essential for a game these days. It's essential for all media these days, not just games. You want to be number one, you have to act like it. You had a beta, the game should have worked. It didn't. This is my problem with this generation of games in general. When day one the game coming out doesn't work, especially if it's a single player game. There is absolutely no reason a single player game should not work on day one. A multiplayer game, I can give, especially if they don't do beta, I can give them a little bit of room, because you know what? A lot of people logged in at once. Maybe it was something, and most of the time, to be honest with you, early in day one, a lot of these problems are fixed. Most of the time. But when you do a beta, it should work. So this is something I really hope gets fixed going into the next generation, because as a gamer, if you continually show me that you can't have your game ready for day one, I'm not going to buy your game. I mean, I wasn't gonna buy Battlefield 3 day one anyway. It's going to sell a lot. It's not a game I have to have. It's like Batman Arkham City. I still got to play the original Batman Arkham, so I need to buy that first before I buy the next one. So that game, I can wait till that game goes down in price. I'm the kind of person, I buy games, I know that game is like not going to be a big hit, and it's important for the series to go on, or to show that want more games like that to be made, then I'll go buy that game over the big huge game that I know is going to be a massive hit, unless there's something about that game that draws me to it. So what do you think about games that are screwed up when they're released on day one? Love to hear your comments. I will read some of them next video. So let's get into other gaming news. Obviously, I would say the big 800-pound gorilla news that came out this week would be that Grand Theft Auto 5 is confirmed, and that the trailer will be released on the 2nd of November. And I know a lot of people are excited with Rockstar, because let's be honest, this generation, the last two franchises games they released will be franchises. Were really cool, awesome games. They did something different. Red Dead Redemption and LA Noire. And people are excited. What could Rockstar do with Grand Theft Auto 5? Because over the history of the series, they have made massive jumps, you know, and so it'd be cool to see what they do. Because Grand Theft Auto 4 came out earlier this generation. Now let's see what happens. Now they understand this generation with Grand Theft Auto, their big series. And in other news of games coming out for the older systems, I'll put you to the video done by NGDEVTEAM, NG/DC, Gunlord Trailer 1. Gunlord is a Turken, on the Genesis, the Turken style game. It is, as they call it, European platformer. The gun shooting is kind of like the guns in Contra, but you know, you got platform jumping around. Really cool looking. You go check out the trailer. It's coming out on the Neo Geo MVS in December of this year. It's coming out on the Dreamcast in 2012, and it's coming out on the Neo Geo AES in 2012. So if you're looking for a new game for those systems, go check out that trailer. So let's get to some of the comments from YouTube Gaming Community number 128, which basically the topic was, what do you look for in your channel? Which was basically a response to Steve Benway's tag he did in his last Friday Talkie. Now, Kid Chicoden had our first comment. He said, I really just look at the person for whom the channel belongs. If said person is more or less just someone showing off how large their collection is, I'm not likely to sub that channel, or at least not likely to follow their channel much. Someone who is gently trying to share a part of their life, entertain others, communicate, or foster a sense of community, those are usually the channels I like above all others. And I will say this for me. If you stick your collection in your face to me all the time to show off, look at what I got that you don't have, or if you continually shove in my face how great you think you are, I will not watch your channel. Now, Churik Wendigo said, all of my criteria for what I look for in a channel I subscribe to all go out the window for your channel. I usually like short, fast-paced videos because I have the attention span of a hamster. Your channel is the exception because you cover interesting topics and do it with impartiality and a sense of humor. Thank you for those very nice comments. I don't know about the sense of humor part, but the rest of it, thank you. So, I do think a lot of us today have a attention span of a hamster. That very early on, and I would say the first 20 seconds of a video, if you don't capture me, I'm more likely going to lose interest in your video and then eventually quit watching it. I think that happens a lot, and a lot of people don't understand the concept that when you make a video, you have to catch me in the beginning. You have to catch everybody in the beginning to get them interested enough to be engaged in it. That's one thing you have to do in your video. That's why you all have to get our attention in the beginning to watch the rest to the end. And next up, Mr. TechnoSqueak said, I never played Jackson Dexter Lost Frontier, but I heard it was totally different than the original trilogy because Naughty Dog wasn't a part of it. And yes, Naughty Dog did not make it. They let somebody else make the game. And it's not really part of the first 3 games, but it's also one of those games that was in development for a long time. In other words, it wasn't in development, one of those games that was made, that was rumored, but they never released it. Then they finally, it became a joke. Kind of like Duke Nukem Forever did in a sense, but not entirely the same way. And then they decided to release it, just put it out there. And then last but not least, Henry Blazer20 said, I hope you don't mind, but I'm about to shoot a parody of you in good humor. Go for it, man. You got a lot to cover. You could do the big nose, the big ears. You could do the stuffed up Snuffleupagus nose. If I didn't own my house, you could say I lived in my parents' basement, which I don't. The coffee drink in there. So many ways you can go. Can't wait to see a parody of myself. To be honest with you, I imagine it'll be really funny. So let's get into the videos to check out, or at least the videos I found interesting this time around. The first one's by MrGameSack, Retro Gaming on HDTVs and Video Connections. So the point of this video is to show you about retro games, showing them on a HDTV and a CRT TV, and even the newer CRT TVs, and explaining what's better to play them on and why they don't play very well on HD TVs. If you're interested, check that out. A very, very informative video. Next up, beautiful, the Game Room GTA news, updates, and website. So basically, like I said, they're talking about GTA 5, excuse me, and they're also talking about updates about themselves and their website they now have. So if you're interested, check that out. Next up is HappyConsoleGamer, Keith Courage, ? In this video, someone didn't put the name on the package, but they sent him a Japanese figure, which is from the original Keith Courage game that came out in TurboGrafx-16 over here, but was a different name over in Japan. Really cool looking figure, actually, really cool. Next up is JurassicJunkie, Gaming Pumpkins, where him and his significant other carved out 2 pumpkins on video game characters. And if you've seen his recent Friday Night Rants, you would know what game his character is. They're really cool though. Next up is LukiWookie1234, Fable 4 Personal Thoughts. He talks about what he wants or hopes is in Fable 4 when they do make it, and he hopes that they push it out this generation. And he's not talking about the Kinect game. He does not consider a Kinect game, and the Kinect game is not a numbered Fable game, so it is not part of the main series. Next up, TheGameHeroes, top 5 modern video game commercials. So in this cool video, they give their opinion of what they think the top 5 video game commercials. 1, they do show the commercials in this video that they talk about, and 2, they do cover the controversy or whatever that also happened with the games to deal with these commercials. So if you're interested, check that out. Next up is MeetingFlipper Community Convo Episode 5, Are You Ready for the Future? The basic topic of this video is, are you ready for the next generation consoles or not? And basically, what do you hope to see in the next generation console? I know all the rumors are going crazy. The PS4 going to be announced in 2013, or the next Xbox in 2013. Well, of course, they're in development. They have to be, no matter what, because if they're going to release it in the next 3 years or even further out, they have to be in development already. Next up is KEWLPIXELGAMERZ, Pirated Gaming Kart Fighter. Somebody took pirated Mario Kart game and Mario game and made it a fighter. And it is a bad looking fighter, but if you want to see what it looks like, check it out. Next up is BaldatGames Retro vs. TotalMK. It's actually Infinite Retro versus TotalMK, the 2 guys' real name. And they are playing the Mortal Kombat 2. So if you want to see Mortal Kombat 2 gameplay, check that out. And last but not least, Nemesis 3561, What will you be getting? Battlefield 3 or Uncharted 3? Because Uncharted 3 comes out next week. And he talks about which game he was going to be getting. So guys, that's all the stuff in the game community that interested me this time around. I will see you all and talk to you guys on Friday.